I am joined, as always, by Greg Buchanan, the Vice President of the CPCA. And today we're going to be talking about the races that took place this past weekend in Poundmaker, as well as the races that are going to be taking place in Little Pine this coming up weekend. And so thank you so much for being with me once again, Greg.
Well, thanks for having me again, Thomas.
All right, so let's start with Poundmaker. Logan Gorst captures the aggregate winner this year. Talk to me about his win and how he, of course, is now taking the top spot in the standings, but the other drivers and the little bit of shakeup that we saw towards the bottom of the top four.
Yeah, a little bit of a shakeup there came into it, and Preston Faithful had, of course, a solid Frog Lake show, and it comes into Poundmaker, takes a barrel out, sets a track record one night. Of course, Luke Turney breaks it the next night, so he kind of falls out of that top four. And Logan Gorse, this is the second straight year he's won the aggregate show title in Poundmaker, so he's liking the track. His horses are liking the track, and then Luke Turney, the beat goes on. He's 60 years old. He's been in the wagon racing for 36 years. And the month of July he's had, there's not too many guys that can really match what he did. Winning so many day monies and then wins another day money just to get into that final four for Championship Sunday in Poundmaker, and then wins the dash. So, yeah, there's going to be some shakeup. There's going to be some juggling going on, and with 3 more days in Little Pine, and you got to keep in mind there's 5 days in the new Lloydminster Nissan CPCA finals, but there's only 4 days that you can qualify to be in that final four for that Canadian Championship dash.
And so we'll now take a closer look at the those standings. So at the top is Logan Gorse. He's just cracked 1,000 points. Luke Turney is very close behind him, only about just over 10 points separate them. Danny Ringette is sitting comfortably in third. And then taking a bit of a jump, we talked about this, DJ King now has more than 10 points over Dallas Dick in fifth. And then following is Preston Faithful and the Baptiste brothers as well, and Chris Flanagan, who are in that conversation. So those guys who are looking to get in there, especially with you mentioning how few days are left, what are they going to need to do? And especially those guys like DJ King that are sitting there that have the lead right now, but are so close to those guys behind them. What are they looking to be doing, especially coming up here this week in Little Pine?
Well, for the 3 days in Little Pine and the 4 days in Lloyd, there's going to be kind of the story of the chasers and the chasees. The chasees are the ones that are in that four right now, and everybody behind them is the ones trying to catch them. So if you're wanting that final four right now, as much as you want to be fast, the most important thing is to be clean. And if you're a little bit further down, you're going to throw it all at them. And sometimes you have kind of the 4-year hooks of the leaders and the wheel team that you're going to be hooking for the 3 days in Little Pine. You have it in the back of your mind rolling into that show, but things kind of change, and you might try it a little bit of something different. Some guys will change something just to have more pop out of the barrels. Same length track in Poundmaker that's going to be in Little Pine, so you might be gambling a little bit more if you're outside that four. But if you're in that top four, you don't want to gamble too much. If you gamble too much and a barrel goes down, it could be a disaster for you.
All right, and finally, let's talk about Little Pine. Of course, we've mentioned a few drivers here that are the guys that are going to be looking to really make their presence known, especially before the finals. So who kind of calls Little Pine home, or is at least close and has done well in the past, and those guys that are carrying a lot of momentum following from Poundmaker?
Well, in the past, it has been a Todd Baptiste show, and and the Poundmaker was a Todd Baptiste show. Little Pine's a Todd Baptiste show, and Todd, the early part of the season has kind of laid the roadwork for what he has ahead of him. He's had some penalties the early part of the season. It's going to be a factor for him going down the home stretch, and more penalties on the weekend in Poundmaker, which is rarity for him. So maybe look for Todd Baptiste to take a deep breath and come out very strong in Little Pine. Not a surprise there. His brother Ryan Baptiste is also having a great show. And Chris Flanagan, who had just a tremendous start to the season, wins North Battleford, had great Meadow Lake show, was in the dash there. Yeah, he's faltered just a little bit here in the month of July, but look for him to respond pretty good in Little Pine as well.
All right, and it's going to be the end of the marathon here, as we are going to be chasing for those finals here that will be taking place in Lloydminster. So lots of CPCA action will be coming up very soon. Thank you, as always, Greg, for joining me, and we will be talking again very soon.
Thanks a lot for having me, Thomas.